Good evening and welcome to the City of Woodstock's public planning meeting. Tonight's meeting is an open public meeting as required by the Planning Act. This meeting will be live streamed to the city's YouTube channel, and a recording of the meeting will also be posted on the city's website following the meeting. An agenda of the meeting will be found on the agendas, meetings, and minutes page on the city's website. This meeting is for information and discussion purposes only, and no decisions will be made at this evening's meeting. Council will make a decision on these matters at the regular council meeting to be held on Thursday at 7 p.m. If you wish to address council at that meeting, you must submit a delegation form to the city clerk no later than 12 noon tomorrow, that being Tuesday. A delegation form is available also on the city website. If an application is denied, only the applicant or the minister may file an appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal within 20 days of issuance of the notice of the council decision. Only specified persons, public bodies, registered owners of land to which the plan may apply, the requester to amend the plan, and the minister may appeal the decision of the City of Woodstock to the Ontario Land Tribunal within 20 days of issuance of the notice of council's decision. Excluding the minister, any party wishing to make an appeal must make written or oral submissions to council at a public meeting. Please note that third parties, anyone who is not a specified person or public body, do not have the right to appeal a decision for an official plan amendment to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Please keep your comments to planning matters only and avoid repeating comments that may have already been expressed. If you have not provided oral or written comments but wish to receive formal notice of council's decision on the matter, please contact the clerk's office. The notice will provide further information on appealing the decision. The planner will be asked to present the planning report for each application. There's 2 applications tonight. The applicant will then be provided an opportunity to make comments, followed by those wishing to speak in favor of the application, and then those wishing to speak in opposition of the application. Prior to proceeding with the first application, does anyone wish to declare a pecuniary interest of any items that are on today's agenda? Seeing none, we'll go forward. As I mentioned, we'll deal with the applications in the order listed on the agenda, and there's just 2 of them tonight. The first one is B 25-24-8 and B 25-25-8. Applicant for consent 634524 Ontario Inc. And the address is 607 Canterbury Street. Mr. Miller, you've got the floor.
Good evening, council, staff, members of the public. I won't repeat the application number of the names, but the subject lands are described as Plan 255, Block M, Lot 4, and Part Lot 5 in the city of Woodstock. The lands are located on the north side of Canterbury Street between Beale Street and Kent Street and are municipally known as 607 Canterbury Street. The subject lands are designated medium density residential in the official plan and are currently zoned R2. The purpose of the applications for consent are to sever 2 lots to create 3 separately conveyable lots with 1 unit on each lot for a 3-unit townhouse that is to be constructed. The applicant has also submitted zone change application ZN8-2505. Concurrently, the zone change application seeks to permit a minimum lot frontage of 7.8 meters for the end units, a minimum side yard width of 1.5 meters for the western unit, and a minimum side yard width of 1.2 meters for the eastern unit. If you look at plate 3, you'll also see that an easement is provided to provide access to the center unit's rear yard, which is something that we typically ask for in the city. With respect to the PPS, the proposal is consistent with the intensification, redevelopment, and housing policies, as the application is considered an efficient use of land and municipal infrastructure within a service settlement area. It provides for a diversity of housing types and represents an appropriate density for new housing that makes efficient use of municipal services. Developments within the medium density designation shall generally consist of townhouses, cluster houses, converted dwellings, and apartment buildings. The proposed development is a 3-unit townhouse that is consistent with the policy supported medium density types. Further, medium density developments shall generally be between 30 and 70 units per hectare. The proposed development is equal to approximately 33.9 units per hectare and is consistent with the policy direction for medium density development types. Staff are of the opinion that the proposal can be considered characterized as an appropriate street oriented infill and development and intensification that is supported by the official plan. The area of the city is characterized by a variety of lot sizes and build forms, including infill developments, townhouses, single detached dwellings, and apartment dwellings, and the proposed lots to be severed and proposed lots to be retained will not be out of character with or inconsistent with the surrounding area. Staff is of the opinion that the proposed lot configurations are reasonable and will provide for an adequate building envelope for single attached dwellings on the lot to be severed and retained, or in this case, townhouses. Uh, Staff recommend that the Woodstock Council advise Land Division Committee that it supports the application subject to the 7 conditions attached.
Are there any questions for the planner? I guess I have a question before you go, Mr. Miller. We often talk about parking in scenarios like that. Are each one of these units going to have a single attached garage?
So through the chair, the applicant is here, they can probably clarify that. But the lots are actually deep enough to provide the parking in the front, but I believe that he does intend to have garages as well.
There's no further questions for the planner. I will call up the delegation or the applicant to come forward to give their name and their address, so where they reside and or have their office in the city of Woodstock, and then give any comments they would like to follow up on the presentation.
I agree with all the planning so far. There is going to be single garages on all of them. So it just kind of sits in the neighborhood there. It'll look good for the neighbors. And I'm happy with the report, so.
Just for the record, can we have your name?
Oh, sorry, Ray Losi. I'm 592 Adelaide Street, Woodstock. That.
Any questions for the applicant? Go ahead, Mayor Accioni.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Losi. Just a quick question on the single-family homes. Is the plan here? Not with ARUs. I did read
Yeah,
the possibility.
yeah,
Okay, so with the,
they have the right to do that after
They
the
do.
fact. Anyway. I
yeah,
don't-
that's what I was
if
just
we sell
curious.
them individually, we don't know that. So.
Okay, so that would brings to the next question I wrote down was, so you plan on, these will be for sale
I think.
versus
Yeah, I think
rentals?
So, it all depends on the market right now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much money I'd wanna lose right now, but
Mhm.
I would, build them just to sell them. Or, in a case where there's no market, we'll rent them.
Keep them for now.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
We got rentals, so, it's not the end of the world. And that's when the ARUs would come into it. I mean, we'll rough them in for ARUs anyway, so, just in case.
Any further questions for the applicant? Seeing none, is there anybody else in the auditorium that would like to speak in favor of the application? To speak in favor of the application? I see none. Anyone who would like to speak against the application or in opposition of the application? Also see none. As mentioned before, there will be no decisions made at the public planning meeting here tonight. The decisions will be made on the 2 planning matters on Thursday night's city council meeting. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
The second item on the agenda is B 25-10-8, B 25-11-8, and the B 25-12-8. Applicant for consent, Vieira Holdings, Inc. And the planner will describe the address for this one because it's listed as being both Mill Street and Carn Road. You'll have the explanation on it.
Good evening. This application has more moving parts, so I'll go through my notes like I normally do, and then if we need to backtrack on some things, I'll try and do that preemptively. So applications B25-10-8, B25-11-8, B25-12-8 in the name of Vieira Holdings. The subject lands are described as concession 1, part Gore, Plan 86, lots 1 to 6, Plan 501, part lot 3 in the city of Woodstock. The subject lands front onto the west side of Mill Street, south of Pembers Pass, and are municipally known as 565040 Carn Road. The subject lands are designated low-density residential, and a portion of them are also designated residential reserve in the county's official plan. And they're currently zoned R1 and future development in the city's zoning bylaw. The purpose of the application for consent is to create 2 new lots for immediate residential development, to create 1 lot containing existing dwelling, and to retain a lot for future residential development within the city of Woodstock. These applications have been made concurrently with B25-094, which seeks to sever lands within the city of Woodstock from a parcel of land that is primarily located in the township of Southwest Oxford. Because most of the lands within this application are located within township of Southwest Oxford, the application will proceed directly to Land Division Committee. The applicants will consolidate 2 parcels with frontage on, with 2 parcels of land with frontage on Mill Street and intend to sever them to more efficiently utilize the lands designated for residential purposes within the city. The applicants will consolidate 432 Mill Street containing an existing dwelling with a portion of a much larger farm parcel at 565040 Carn Road, primarily within the township of Southwest Oxford, to consolidate their holdings within the city's boundaries. First, the lands considered in B25094 must be severed from the larger farm holdings and added to 432 Mill Street. Following that, the severances proposed in these applications will create 4 new lots. Application B25-11-8 will contain the existing dwelling currently located at 432 Mill Street. Applications B25-10-8 and B25-12-8 will create vacant lots for residential use, and a retained lot with frontage on Mill Street will be created for future residential development within the city's boundaries. As a condition of these severances, the lots must be appropriately zoned to reflect the intended uses. So I'll stop here and go to plate 4 that is in the report. So if you look at the entirety of this, the red block and the green block are the existing farm parcel. What they intend to do is sever off the blue part, and those are the lands that are within the city, and add them to the green parcel, which contains an existing single detached dwelling. So this larger part will be the application that goes to Southwest Oxford, and that application is just to sever the lands that are within the city's boundaries off of the part that's within Southwest Oxford. And if we go back up to this, so then what we end up with is this larger parcel that they are going to then create. So if you can see in the center blue one is the existing dwelling. They intend to create a vacant lot on either side of the existing dwelling. The lands to the south there in purple will be retained for future development of residential uses, which is what the intent is within the official plan. There aren't final plans for those yet. I'm not sure if the city or county even has servicing down there on Mill Street, but immediately as right now, the lands on either side of the existing dwelling are able to be serviced and able to be severed. But really it's just to organize all the lands within the city for future developments. The proposal is consistent with the intensification, redevelopment, and housing policies as the application is considered an efficient use of land and municipal infrastructure within a service settlement area, provides for a greater diversity of housing types, and represents appropriate density for new housing that makes efficient use of existing municipal services. Staff are of the opinion that the proposal can be characterized as an appropriate street-oriented infill development and intensification that is supported by the official plan. With respect to the portion of the lands designated rural reserve and requiring compatibility in adjacent requiring compatibility with the adjacent aggregate operation, the applicants have submitted a noise study and an environmental study. The noise study concluded that no construction upgrades are required to address noise associated with the aggregate operations, but recommends a warning clause in the purchasing agreements and central air conditioning units for the new dwelling units. The noise study also requires berms along the property lines as outlined in the report. Because the applicants also own the aggregate operation, this mitigation measure should be easily achievable. The noise report also outlines acoustic mitigation measures required with regards to the processing plant, and these measures are proposed to be implemented through conditions of consent. The subject lands are zoned R1 in future development zone. Following approval of these applications, as conditions of approval, a zone change is anticipated and required to appropriately zone the subject lands. The applicant has discussed rezoning the proposed severed lands to R1 or R2 and leaving the retained lands as future development until future plans come to fruition. Planning staff are of the opinion that the proposed severances are a form of street-oriented infill and are consistent with the policy direction of the provincial planning statement and official plan and can be supported from a planning perspective, subject to the recommended conditions. There are slightly more conditions than usual on here, and that reflects noise mitigation measures and things like that that aren't typical with normal severances.
Any questions from members of council? Go ahead, Councillor Lauder.
Through the chair to Mr. Miller. So just to explain this, so I got it right. So all of that, everything that's there is in the city of Woodstock.
That's right.
So we're not taking anything in from Southwest Oxford at all.
That's right.
So where that yellow line comes down through, that's not a dividing line between the city of Woodstock and Southwestern Oxford, or Southwest Oxford.
The yellow line that's in the middle of Mill Street?
No, not on Mill Street, the one that's coming
Oh,
down.
that comes through out in the angle?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's through the chair. That's just that's the existing zone line. The zone line, by definition, kind of does create different properties, but not functionally. They only pay taxes in one place. But yeah, so the city of Woodstock's, the city boundaries follow that line that is sort of the western rear property line. It goes all the way down to Clark Street. Clark Road? Clark Street. Clark Road.
Street, Clark Road. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So then eventually that there could be residential on the future development area at some point.
Yes, all of those lands, they're designated future development and the official plan specifically spells out that they're intended to be for residential uses.
Okay, thank you. It explains it because I was confused with that, talking about Southwest Oxford and everything. So thank you.
Any more questions? Mayor Accioni?
Thank you, through the chair. To Mr. Miller, similar along, I was a little confused by this, I got to admit, because I've always assumed there was houses going to be built along there because they've been part of the OP for so long. So I guess otherwise, if this isn't approved, that basically would sterilize that land because, of course, with the aggregate behind it, and like, I guess I was just a little confused why this is coming forward at this point. So I guess in a very short form with the Southwest Oxford, because it's described, I got asked earlier after radio interview this morning about a boundary adjustment. So along Councillor Lauder's lines, what is the true purpose? What are we going to be approving Thursday then that is different than what's in the OP already? Does that make sense?
I don't know. I'm going to answer a question. I don't know if it's the one you asked,
Okay.
but we'll try. So yes, they've always been in the OP as future development, which is itself sort of a holding provision.
Mhm.
It sets it aside so nothing can happen there until everything is satisfied. In particular, why this future development zone likely exists is because we don't want people to develop it until we can make sure that the residential uses won't have an impact on the aggregate
Of the aggregate.
and vice
Sure.
versa.
Yes.
So the people who are proposing this also own that
On the
property.
aggregate, yeah, no, I
So,
understand that. Yeah.
they can put in the appropriate mitigation measures that would be required. If somebody else didn't do that, they might have to find a way to cooperate with the aggregate users or have increased setbacks, which based on the depth, they might not be able to come up with.
Mhm.
To be able to mitigate the impacts from the aggregate operation. So it's it's probably something where we didn't know when development would be able to take place because we don't know the life cycle. We have an idea of the aggregate operation and what the mitigation measures might be, but all those pieces have sort of come together, so we're able to move forward with it now.
Okay, and that's perfectly fine. I just like the idea, just the intensification, the infilling makes sense. That land is sitting there, so, okay, no, thank you.
Any other questions for the planner? And we can have the applicant therefore come up and state their name and where they reside and any comments they'd like to make on this proposal.
Hey there, Alex Innes, from VR Holdings. Location is 111 Sydenham Street, Woodstock. And I'm Max Innes. So essentially, this is just, we purchased the property, the R1 property, and we've owned the property to the south for quite a while. And we wanted to join them together to be able to create some new lots there, one of which I'd like to live in at some point. But it's a part of our family farm, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to provide some infill.
As a point of clarification, for farming purposes, now you access the land from Carn Road then?
Yes, we do.
Because I know it's very well fenced behind the house and whatnot in there. Any questions for the applicant? All right then. Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak in favor of the application? If you're here to speak in favor of the application? Oh, well, you can come up then against the application and at this point, you can come up, either it doesn't matter. You'll get your questions or concerns answered.
Troy Huddy. I live at 451 Mill Street, right across, from the part that they're gonna just retain. The only thing I'm here, I'm not against it. I'm just wondering what they're gonna build there, if it's gonna be houses, townhouses, apartment buildings, whatever. And, another part is, I love my view there, so I'm gonna lose my view at my house. That happens in building, but you know, it is what it is. My most thing is if you guys start running, sewage down that way, I'm on septic. So are you guys gonna force me now to get in cities, and raise my taxes? And what is it gonna cost me and my family to hook up to the city if you guys force me that? Because right now I don't know if I can afford it. So that's my fear. So.
Can the question about the servicing be answered?
Mr. Chairman, I can attempt to answer the question. So right now, the sanitary sewer comes up Mill Street from the north. So the developer would have to or lengthen that sewer to his property to serve it. The authority that has the jurisdiction on the sewer is the Oxford County. So that would be their call on how far they're going to bring the sewer up. And it would be their call whether or not they would make you hook up to that sewer. So that question should be answered by Oxford County.
Okay. So I'd contact them then?
Yes.
Okay. That's,
Was there another question or concern, Mr. Huddy?
no, I think it's a good opportunity for Woodstock to, do that. But another thing I've seen in the applicant too, that you're widening this street, is that in plans too, or? Is it said in this applicant that you're widening Mill Street?
What is the reasoning or the purpose for that, Mr. Miller?
So often through severances where the county or city, whoever owns the road, has determined that the road is not a width that would be standard now, that's their opportunity to take a road widening. It doesn't mean that the pavement or anything actually widens. They often need the space to put servicing and things like that in it.
Okay.
Any other comments you'd like to make?
Well, that's good.
All right, thanks. Anybody else would like to speak, I guess either in favor or against the application? this point in time, we were looking for somebody to speak against it. It's always nice to see the neighborhood come out and ask questions about the possibility of a project, that's for sure. We've covered both sides of the issue, therefore, on the second application on our agenda, so that does conclude tonight's meeting. A decision on these items will be made at the council meeting on Thursday night. If I can ask for a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councillor Lauder, seconded by Councillor Martin. All in favor? Thanks. Thanks for coming out tonight.